Hello and welcome to ET Auto's Startup Adda, a station for innovation, a show that brings new age entrepreneurs who are trying to make it big in the mobility space, and also the experts and financiers and those who are going to help these entrepreneurs reach their goal. In this episode, we have with us the co founder of Neuron Energy, Mr. Pratik Kamdar. The Neuron Energy is basically a company trying to build its mark in the battery manufacturing and also charging solution providing space. Uh, the expert or the person who is going to evaluate today is illustrious automotive industry leader. He was managing partner with Frost and Sullivan, and right now he is CEO of OHM Mobility and Chief Planning Officer of Switch Mobility. Both entity is owned by Hinduja Group. He is also on the board of Vasuki, a $30 million dollar mobility fund. They give funding to mobility startups and mobility firms. Mr. Singh is also helping Hinduja Group in terms of their incubation or the department that is trying to spot the startups or they're trying to incubate or help the startup. So Sarwant has a major stake in the mobility industry. Thank you so much, Mr. Singh, for joining ET Auto Startup Adda. Before we go ahead, let me invite Pratik and to give his presentation and understand what is he trying to do, how different is it here, and what are his endeavors that will make him a successful entrepreneur in this mobility space, which is very hugely crowded right now in India. Over 300-400 startups have come up, and they all are vying for their respective space in the mobility sector. Over to you, Pratik, and then we'll hear from our expert. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nabil, for the introduction. I'll straight away start with our presentation and introduction to our company and what we do. I'll just share the slide.
Yeah.
One second. You can view the presentation.
No, we are not. You can go ahead with your. Yeah, I can see now.
So, Neuron as a company, we are electric mobility focused battery and charging company. Our aim is to build battery infrastructure and charging infrastructure in and around the EV vehicle. Currently, we are focused mainly on three segments. One is electric two-wheelers, electric three-wheelers, and golf carts. Unlike many other startups, we are also doing lead acid batteries for two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and golf carts. The major reason being that the replacement market is fairly established when it comes to lead acid batteries compared to lithium ion. Lithium ion, mainly the sales are happening at the OEM end where the new car is sold with the lithium ion battery. And our aim, Neuron's aim, is to build a distribution base pan India within the next 24 months. Currently, we have around 240 distributors, and we plan to increase this to around 1500 to 2000 distributors by 2024. Lead acid battery allows us to build that channel and network. The same channel will be eventually shifting to lithium or sodium ion or solid state battery or any other battery that comes in play. Now this is one slide which is the ecosystem that we are planning to create. We currently have four depots: Bombay, Delhi, Chennai, Kolkata. We are planning to add three more at Bangalore, Lucknow, and Nagpur. The idea is to ensure that the batteries are delivered to our customer within 24 hours to 48 hours from the date of order. As in this day and age of faster deliveries and e-commerce, we don't expect the customer to wait longer than that, or they have the patience longer than that to uh, wait for the product to reach them. And if we don't have a depot network, it will take around 8-10 days anywhere in India to reach them. Second is all our lithium ion batteries are accompanied with data, AI, and a smart BMS. We have a backend command center in Bangalore which tracks these batteries, and also they can preempt which battery will fail. So the service team can actually solve a battery failure without the failure actually occurring. Second thing is that we can remotely repair the battery sitting here in Guwahati or in Gurgaon or in Chennai, where our service team from Bombay can repair the battery, keeping the command center data in mind and guide the customer on what changes to make in the Neuron app, and they can automatically repair the battery. Over and above this, we are planning to launch two more product lines. One is a AC/DC charging network, wherein all our customers and OEMs who have bought Neuron points, who have bought the batteries, will get access to the points and charging facility and network. And we have a concept of Neuron Park, wherein we'll club the battery, the charging infrastructure and battery as a service swapping stations, along with a park which will be a dedicated EV park, which we want to roll out only on the highways, where there will be an EV mall, a car walk facility, a service center, a two-wheeler car park and charging, four-wheeler charging, food court. So the aim of the Neuron Park is to integrate all the components that we are building together, and at the same time also completely address the issue of range anxiety on the highways and ensuring that there is supply available. The same park can be solar enabled, so we don't have to uh, get access from high electricity lines in remote areas. The charger ecosystem will have a point which will be an intelligent IoT based point, which we are currently deploying. We'll have AC chargers and DC chargers. So these are the three broad terms that we plan to use. We are just giving you a view of the mobile app and command center, as in what all can the consumer view, what all from the battery data, and how the vehicle optimization, battery charging analytics, what all data can we get, and how we can improve the performance remotely without physically being everywhere. Considering the industry and the technology being very new and very fresh, it will take some time for the consumer to be educated about how to go about it and what to do. Now, in terms of where we are, as we discussed earlier, we have not gone in beyond four wheelers yet. But the two wheeler market, currently we have around 6 lakh two wheelers in India today, which are EV two wheelers. We have 14 crore two wheelers, which are petrol and diesel. We expect this shift to be extremely quick, and we are already seeing lithium ion and lead acid penetration in the EV space. So, we are looking at a demand of around 14 crore batteries in the next 10 years only in the two wheeler market. We have not considering fleets or battery swapping, whether a number of batteries per vehicle required would be probably three or four, as they will be running 24 hours. So keeping all that in mind, you can draw a parallel to television industry or somewhere where the penetration would be around 10 crore for 130 crore people. So we are expecting such similar penetration only in the two wheeler market. In the three wheeler market, we are looking, we have around 15 lakh rickshaws today in India, and we expect that to grow to around 60 lakhs in the next 4 to 5 years. We have
So
penetrated the
where do you see Neuron being placed in this market growth that you are projecting right now?
In the three-wheeler markets, we have marquee clienteles, and also we have large amount of distributor base. So in the three-wheeler market, we plan to hold 20 to 25% market share. We should achieve that in the next 1 year, considering the contracts we have in place already. And so we have a contract with large OEMs like YC Electric, Kinetic, where we are supplying our batteries to them. Also, the aftermarket of lead acid batteries, we have around 80 dealers, only dedicated three-wheeler lead acid dealers. And now they have also started purchasing lithium ion batteries. These
Okay.
dealers are spread from Delhi to Kolkata.
Pratik, now I'd like to invite the expert for the day, Mr. Sarwant Singh. He is also on the board of Vasuki, a $30 million mobility funds that is based out of Luxembourg, but he'll be happy to invest in India also. It's a membership-based fund. Thank you so much, Mr. Singh, for joining ET Auto Startup Adda. You heard Pratik. I don't know how did you receive this presentation. Just want to understand what are the unique thing that you have noted, and what's your initial comment about Neuron Energy.
Sarwant, I think you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Firstly, big thanks, Nabil, for inviting me today. And secondly, huge hard work and congratulations to you for bringing this startup Adda and bringing organizations like Neuron into this picture. It was great yesterday when the Prime Minister said in the Lok Sabha, we've had a century of startups. So I wish you the same, Neuron, that you are a unicorn one day. From what I've heard and seen about Neuron, I think firstly, you are in the right market. Electric vehicle market is expected to grow, and like they say in the when we had the gold rush in California, it wasn't the guys who were digging the gold who made money, it was the people who were selling the shovels, right? So you've got that approach here, which is you are making the charging network. Everybody needs to charge their vehicle every day, and you are. I like the business model, which seems to be a good connect of using distributor dealers, but also a fully integrated approach of actually developing your own app. You seem to be also getting into other areas like batteries and battery management systems. So overall, I think from what I'm seeing, it's a good business, and I think your positioning on two wheelers, three wheelers, four wheelers is the right thing to do in the market. India will most likely lead in the two three wheeler space, and I also believe, especially because that's what our company does, India will also lead in the bus space, and that's something maybe for you to consider. I did have one question for you, Pratik. Would like to understand how you will generate revenue. What are the different revenue lines that you are looking for your business?
So all the batteries. So in the lead acid space, we have three divisions: golf carts, two wheelers, and three wheelers. In golf carts, we sell somewhere around 300 numbers a month, which
Okay.
will give golf cart is a very small and niche market. We should have a market share of around 15 to 20% already in this market. In the lead acid space, in the lead acid two wheeler space, we sell somewhere around 7,000 units a month today. In lead acid e-rickshaw, that is the three-wheeler market, we sell somewhere around 5,000 units today, which translates into a top line of somewhere around 2.5 CR. Now, we are planning to increase this further to probably around 15 to 17,000 and occupy the second position in the lead acid segment in e-rickshaw in India. So we can go up to probably a top line of around 10 to 15 CR per month in the e-rickshaw lead acid space. And two-wheeler lead acid, we are seeing a faster shift towards lithium. So that segment we don't plan to grow, and that segment will remain consistent and probably taper down over the next 2 years to completely lithium. With e-rickshaw, the price change is fairly different in terms of lithium and lead acid. It's almost 200% more. Hence, the shift also, the rickshawalas are not very prone to spending on the technology. So considering the buyer profile, also the shift will be slower in the e-rickshaw space. It will take around 5 years for it to completely shift to lithium. They are also shifting, but the shift is slower. In the lithium ion space today, it was a newer segment. Around 14 months back we have started it. We today sell around more than 1,000 battery packs a month. We are planning to scale that to 25,000 battery packs a month, considering a couple of contracts that we have signed. In the electric rickshaw lithium ion space, we will be becoming the second largest player in India from February itself, as we have a couple of OEM contracts that we are executing. So keeping all this in mind, we are looking from next year, if everything stabilizes. We have had some challenges last year. We had 3 months, April, May, June, of no billing because of the second wave, and then the supply crisis from September kicking in. So keeping all this in mind, we are looking to target around 20 crores a month billing from April, May this year.
Excellent, excellent. And
That's
Pratik,
all.
is it more? Are you looking more as a transaction model, or are you looking to develop a service model so it's generating value and revenue through the life cycle of the battery or the vehicle?
Battery is a transaction model. We don't sell battery as a service. We have not gotten into the swapping network yet. We plan to get into it later on. Our idea is that the base or the platform of the company will be the batteries, which will purely be on the transaction model. It will give us enough revenue and enough profitability to sustain a large team, and ensure we invest the investable capital is realized from there, which can be invested in infrastructure which is on subscription basis or on annuity basis. So the charging infrastructure that we plan to create in and around our OEMs and fleets that we are supplying batteries to, that will be completely on annuity model. We might use our distributors also, because the idea with chargers is that everyone will require chargers, and chargers need to be everywhere. So every parking lot in India, every hotel outside, every coffee shop outside, every salon will require a charging point where people can charge their cars. Such kind of dense network cannot be created overnight and cannot be created by a single company. So we intend to use our distributors to build that all over. We will not be doing a transaction with them. The hardware cost will be borne by them, but the subscription fees or a platform fees will be levied, where Neuron will have a steady inflow of annuity income through the charging infrastructure.
Yeah, so that's a good idea, Pratik. I think it's good to start with the transaction model. But then you want to bind the customer and have direct contact with the customer through your digital platform and your app.
Yeah.
And
Also,
then
battery as a product, we cannot sell on annuity model, considering it's a warranty product. So you are bound by a 3-year warranty. Now the warranties have certain clauses that, if there is a misuse, if physical damage is done, then the warranty claim cannot be exercised. So to avoid getting into a messy situation wherein you are an annuity and your money is there and the customer is taking undue advantage of it. So battery industry, I feel personally this would be a view of everyone that they would not go into an annuity model with batteries at all.
yeah.
So
Of
I
course,
have one
considering.
question.
Sure,
Yeah,
Naveen,
yeah,
please
go
go.
ahead. Sarwan, then I have
No,
one.
Naveen, please go ahead.
So I just so far I have seen the presentation and understood from Pratik. Pratik comes from already a established business background. His family has been into real estate business. Now he is trying to diversify into this electric mobility space. Just want to understand, Sarvant ji also. Do you see any kind of innovation quotient that is very important in the startup? I see more of a traditional businessman diversifying its business into a new space. I'm really not able to understand where that the quotient is there, or am I missing something? If you, Sarvandi, if you could analyze and give me some understanding on that.
Yeah, so Nabil, you're right. So I think the good, interesting thing what Pratik and Neuron is doing is they're using the traditional channels to market, the distributors, dealers, and then they want to marry it with new channels to market, which is the digital connect with the customer, and having their own command and control center and an app to provide that. So you're right. There is a good mix of old. They say the future is very much bricks and clicks. So you have to have the old. And in India, the beauty of the Indian dealer distribution network is the proximity to the customer and understanding of the local customer. And the three-wheeler owner will go to a local customer as opposed to calling Pratik when he's sitting in Mumbai or Bangalore, if he's based in Chandigarh, for example. So I think that to me is a strength. But at the same time, you want to build a platform. Um, you know, Everything is becoming a platform. This needs to have a platform, and having a platform also increases your valuation of a business. And once you have a platform with a community of users and a community of distributors, dealers, that's when you sort of start reaching that nirvana space where you can then really influence the market. So that would be my recommendation, Nabil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Also, Sarvanji, your first fund is $30 million. I just want to understand, in case you have to invest, what kind of startup will you be looking at? What are the two, 3 points that you consider is a must-have before you get into investing?
Yeah. So the Vasuki is a fund set up and started by the Rothschild Automotive team. It's a members club fund, so we have a number of organizations and individuals globally who have put in anywhere between a few thousand to a few million. The first fund we set up is 30 million. And what we are basically looking is setting up, investing within the automotive ecosystem. So we have invested in some companies in battery space, some companies who are very well in the technology space. We are very open. We don't want to invest in a particular space. So it's not only EVs or autonomous. We are looking to, take the whole mobility value chain, right from logistics, supply chain, battery, even a hardware supplier, manufacturer. So that's what we're looking at. Unfortunately, this fund cannot invest in India because a few Indian companies are invested, and the rules of origin in India, sort of don't allow us to do that. But so we are mainly focused on global mobility startups. We're also setting up an India fund that will specifically focus on India and invest in India. So that's just a quick background to our philosophy.
So, but what do you look for when you go ahead with a startup to invest? What are the features? What are the quality in this in the founder or the company's vision, or how much is uniqueness in terms of USP of the company or innovation important role plays while you invest?
So typically, whenever an investor puts money, there are three or four things they look for. One is, are they in a growth market, or second is, do they have a disruptive or a unique business model, and third is always the management team, and the passion of the management team always helps. We don't necessarily always like Elon Musk kind of people, because if that person is just the whole company is sort of is the he's the pillar of the company, or she, then that is always a bit of a disadvantage. So it's good to have a rounded team in place. And then really also what we look for is sort of multiples we can get. And our investment philosophy is we would not take majority share. We would put seed to series A, 1 to 3 million, and let the management run the business. So that's the kind of things we look for when we are investing.
You can go ahead with your question now, Mr. Singh.
No, for me, that's it. I think, Pratik, good presentation. Looks like a solid value proposition you have. The fact you're already with your feet on the ground, which is helpful. I always say so Nabil, you asked me this interesting question. When somebody comes to me and says, I want 10 million, I say to him or them, what if I gave you 100 million? Right? So don't bootstrap your business, be aggressive. Even pigs can fly in a storm. So,
We are currently sorry to interrupt you, but we are currently raising. So we are in the middle of a round right now, and we are looking to raise around the first Series A and then move forward from
yeah, excellent. So be aggressive, Pratik. That's all I would say.
there.
Open up many fronts.
Sarwant, before you go, I know that you have to attend another call. Just want to understand how will you rate Neuron Energy when it comes to scalability, innovation, or adaptability in the new market situation?
Yeah. So
10 is
I
the
made,
highest, 1 is the lowest.
sorry, one, two, what? Sorry, Nabil.
1 to 10 scale, how will you rate Neuron Energy when it comes to business viability, scalability, and in terms of innovation?
Yeah, I would rate anywhere between 8 to 9 on all those three. So I think great business idea, great market. I see Pratik has a background and relationship. He's passionate, and it's a growing market. And I think the positioning is perfect. I would just recommend look at a more service-based business model,
Yeah.
and not just a transaction-based. So that's my only recommendation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much,
much.
Sarwant.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you
Nabil.
so much.
Good luck, Pratik.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Saran. Thank you so much.
That's all from the experts' view. Now we'll continue the discussion with Pratik. Pratik, you talked about you are raising the fund. Just can you give us a sense what kind of fund it is, and where do you want to use this fund, and what is the size of the fund is going to be?
We are targeting a fundraise of around 30 to 40 CR. So it's around $5 million to $7 million. We would be
Okay.
deploying around $1 billion in R&D to develop new tech products that we would introduce into the market that we have developed. Yes, you are right that we the channel that we have right now is slightly traditional. There are two reasons for it mainly. One being that right now the battery industry is in a way looked as not an electronic industry but as a part of auto industry. And all the sales that happen in the auto industry are assisted sales, either through garages or mechanics or distributors who guide the customer what to use, what not to use. If we bypass this completely today, it will be difficult for the consumer to understand the nuances and the advantages of battery. Hence, we are going also the scalability. Like today, we have only 6 lakhs EV scooters. Tomorrow, when we have 5 crore, 10 crore EV scooters, this entire business will become direct to consumer automatically.
So I just want to understand the R&D is your primary focus where you are going to put this
R&D,
money.
R&D, yeah, 1 million on R&D, 1 million on marketing, and
Okay.
remaining would be to again scale and hold inventory at various depots and move forward.
At what valuation are you going to raise this?
We have not really pinpointed a valuation yet. We are in talks with investors about the value that we will be getting.
So
We
for
are
five
looking
to 7 million, if suppose the investors are watching this show, 5 to 7 million. At what percent of stake or share?
We are targeting to dilute anywhere between 15 to 20%.
So for 15 to 20%, you want 5 to 7 million, right?
Yes, yes.
Means
And
you are valuing your company right now about $100 million.
yeah, close, not 100, 5 million for 20%, so $20 million.
20 million, sorry, $20 million, sorry. $20 million. And what is your current revenue? 5 crore? 5 CR,
Yeah,
if I'm
so
not wrong?
we should touch. So we have had a dip post October. November, December, Jan have been slow months, which are traditional with any auto industry, considering the purchases don't happen post Diwali till Makar Sankranti. However, having said that, we have survived because of the large replacement market that we have. So the after sales don't get impacted due to festivities.
No.
Having said that, we should close the year at around top line of around 30 crores and a monthly run rate of around 4 to 5 crores.
So you're still sticking to lead acid, which is not considered so environment friendly, or that is not seen as futuristic. So how do you see yourself changing this business scenario? Do you want to move?
So I'll reply to that segment wise. When it
Hmm.
comes to two wheelers lead acid penetration or sales are happening in tier 4 and tier 5 cities. The reason why tier 4 and tier 5 cities are going for lead acid is that their running in a day is not very high. Secondly, the consumer is not very well aware of a modern technology with an app that I would give them. So they are not slightly comfortable using that technology yet. We don't want to let go of any customers. If we serve a customer and we service them, the same customer tomorrow will evolve and get into lithium ion business. So we don't want him to wait and then cater to it. We already have a network, so we are catering to it today. When it comes to also the price sensitivity is not much when it comes to two wheeler. Five battery pack in lead acid would cost around 12,000 rupees, where a lithium ion battery would be around 25,000 rupees. So it's almost a 100% increase, but the 10,000 rupee gap is not much for a consumer to say no to a lithium ion technology battery segment. When it comes to electric rickshaw, now two wheelers is a personal use vehicle, but when we talk about electric rickshaw, it's public transport. So you have a user who is continuously using it, and the money they make on daily basis is for their life to survive. So it is a very different application, a very different set of consumer, and their service requirements are fairly high as they cannot afford the rickshaw to be down because our batteries are not working. So, when a set of electric lead acid rickshaw batteries would cost around 25 to 30,000 rupees, where a lithium ion battery would cost around 65 to 70,000 rupees. Although the life of lithium ion batteries is three times. So, over if you see per cycle, lithium is cheaper. But today, the consumers don't have that kind of excess capital to invest in a lithium ion battery segment. So, that segment, 80 90% today is lead acid. And once you have given them a lead acid battery which has worked, you have serviced them, you have supported them whenever a failure has happened, you tend to have significant loyalty in consumers. So we are looking at lead acid business only as a way to get a foot in the door,
As the
get
market
more
transforms.
customers.
Just
Yeah, it's a
how
cheaper
do
way.
you see your charging infrastructure business? You want to be in that space. How are you working there?
We are supplying batteries to a lot of fleet management companies and a lot of OEMs. So the OEMs came back to us that we have dealers in this region, and the fleet guys said that we are doing deliveries in this particular region. Can we support our vehicles with charging infrastructure? Because otherwise we'll have to have three batteries, four batteries, and keep swapping them. So the idea was to we are launching Neuron Point, which will be an intelligent point, which will be installed and applied at various places, wherein a scooter or a bike or a three wheeler or a four wheeler can come park and charge. So the idea is to keep growing the charging infrastructure across India. We might have a hybrid model here wherein Neuron directly will deploy this in certain places. In certain places, they will be assisted through distributors. But Neuron is very clear that it will be an annuity based model wherein we'll generate revenue through selling electricity.
Okay.
And the
So
idea is to, yeah.
How are you going to get the revenue from charging? What's the idea? Are you going to invest in all those points, or your partner will also share the
I'll explain
investment?
you both the models. Let's say in the partner model, our distributor, let's say we have a distributor in Bombay and he puts in all these points. So he'll be paying us for the hardware. We don't have much margin on the hardware. That's not the end game here or the transactional model that we are looking at in charging space. Every charge, there will be a platform fees or a transaction fees that they will be paying to us for the usage of software, for the usage of availability of chargers, and that will be paid to us in annuity. So every time someone charges, a certain component of transaction fees or platform fees will be coming to Neuron, and remaining chunk will be going to the partner. So the partner will break even if he has invested on the product within 9 to 12 months, and Neuron, being the parent company who is servicing these chargers, ensuring that the chargers are on and bringing the technology in, will be making the platform fees over time. And in case Neuron directly deploys, then we are holding that inventory on our books and we are servicing them directly, and whatever money is made comes to Neuron directly. Then we don't need to share any revenue with partners. But the idea of chargers is that you need it everywhere. Probably every street light of India should have a charger. Every parking lot should have a charger. Every coffee shop should have a charger outside, or salon should have a charger outside. So the idea is that it's going to be so dense, it won't be one company's capability to cater to the entire demand. Also,
Pratik, so
interoperability.
far you have diversified your family businesses into real estate. This is completely different. What sort of challenges you have faced and still facing? What are the things that gives you sleepless nights, and how are you trying to address those challenges?
Oh, very different. So real estate is completely different. It's an established business. It's steady for years, and it's something that's known to every Indian. So it's, we are aware as a consumer about what to expect, what not to expect, what is good for us, what is not good for us. So that kind of education and awareness is part of our self-conscious now when someone is buying a house. So it's something that's, whether it's a tier four city, tier one city, urban metro, luxury project, or a hotel, we all know what to expect, what not to expect. But having said that, coming to EV industry, it's fairly different, because the products that we are launching are something that don't have a history. I'll tell you a story. We had gone to the bank to fund our working capital. They said that give you a 5 years history, then we'll fund you. And the EV industry does not have 5 years history. I cannot give you the history. So these are the challenges that we face everywhere, whether it was raising funds, one, whether it was, creating awareness or the education in customers about what this product is and how to use it. Indians are used to washing the vehicle every morning. They tend to wash the batteries as well. Then they call us that the batteries have failed. So we have had multiple challenges everywhere that, so we this the part of education and awareness will take some time, probably some years, where things will be
So,
stable.
how are you currently doing? Are you importing, or how? What is the current level of localization that you have in lead
The
acid? Are
fact,
you manufacturing here, or it is also part of it is imported?
so in lead acid, everything is manufactured, contract manufactured. We don't manufacture any of it. All of it is manufactured in India except electric bike batteries that are imported. No, there is no Indian manufacturer which are manufacturing those batteries. And we intend to continue that. We don't intend to own a manufacturing unit in lead acid because we look at it as a transactional business just to improve the point of sales and
Stop
our
that.
point. Yeah. And lithium ion, we import the cells, but the battery packs are assembled in India. So the cells
Where
are
do you
imported from.
the cost
Well,
right now for you?
so there are two types of cell, NMC cells and LFP cells. So we are importing both of them considering the demand of the market. We are using only A plus grade category cells in both the applications. So we use, there are multiple brands. We use only two, three of them. So the cell costs have been fairly high after September. Lithium, considering the lithium demand, the lithium metal costs have gone up. So the cell manufacturers had to increase their pricing. And that's another challenge in the EV industry where already the cost is higher. And when the cell cost becomes higher, up margins get suppressed because the consumer is not ready to pay that money. So that is where also we are getting some lead acid demand where a consumer says, "Nee, if the amount is so high, I'll probably this year I'll buy lead acid, next year let's see what to do."
So, do you see any course correction in this direction? Because for any short term, we don't see that cell manufacturing is going to happen in India,
We
and
don't
we do not
expect.
have enough raw material also. So, what are the options that people like you have? Because
We
you
are a
have
market. We are a
economy
market.
of scale also. Yeah, yeah.
We are a market focused company, and we are building our R&D. So if I had to split our business in three typical verticals, it would be sales, distribution, and service, which we have already built and we are growing on that. Second is R&D, which we have built a part of it, but a part of it will be built through the fundraising that we are doing. And the idea is that Neuron will be catering to the market as a tech company, which will have different tech products. So we want not only to get into lithium ion, but also sodium ion, so on and so forth. We will always be a market player and will be catering to the market. So we might not get into the cell manufacturing, but we will be utilizing the cells, whether it's sodium ion, lithium ion, made by any other corporate or company, and making our products through them. So currently we are expecting other technologies to coexist with lithium in the next 5 years. Lithium today is commercially accepted technology, and the pricing, sales, serviceability, everything is set. However, considering the shortage of raw material, access to raw material, keeping all those issues in mind, we do expect that there will be other technologies that will come in and they will coexist with lithium. It could be sodium ion, it could be solid state batteries, aluminum ion, it could be anything.
When do you expect to close your fundraising? How
By
close
March,
are you
mid
to
March,
close it? Mid
we'll be
of this
closing
month?
it by mid March.
Okay, mid March. That's when you see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, what are the message for from you to those who want to be in this space, those who want to also build their business around the similar? What are the some kind of learning that you'd like to share with the audience?
See, the EV ecosystem is fairly large. We are just a small part of it, catering to only batteries and chargers. You will have vehicle manufacturers, you will have raw material suppliers, you will have technology developers, you will have marketplace players, collaborators, so on and so forth, that will play a certain role in the entire ecosystem. So, I mean, it's a wonderful industry to be part of. Demand definitely doesn't seem to be an issue here for the next 10, 15 years. However, we are going through some supply challenges and challenges about awareness and education of customers that any entrepreneur who wants to get into will have to look into. And I'm sure he will get some sleepless nights considering the way we work and how traditionally we are working and how the technology is changing those applications. So, I mean, it's an interesting industry to be part of, but you'll have to be patient when it comes to ensuring that everything is smooth and stable. And I think we are a few years away from that right now.
Thank you so much, Pratik, for joining ET Auto Startup Adda. Wish you all the very best. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
gentlemen, for joining this session. We'll be back with another startup and expert on next Tuesday, same time. Till then, take care. Goodbye. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Nabil. Thank you so much.